This is currently the only way you can watch YouTube on your car. No jailbreak is required. You don't have to do anything on your iPhone. You simply just allow it to connect and bam, you have YouTube or Netflix, even Hulu, Disney Plus, and etc. Now, this device is a third party, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's been targeted with these weird CarPlay ads that allow you to not only have wireless CarPlay ability, but watch your favorite YouTube channels on your vehicle screen. And I went ahead and picked one up, but you know, whenever you clicked on those weird ads, it takes you to a sketchy website. So as a normal consumer, I did the next best thing and I just went on Amazon and looked it up and see if I could find it off here, because over here I am protected with the buyer protection of a 30-day refund if I don't like this product. And after testing this thing out, it works. These things actually do work. Now, they are a bit on the pricey side, but when you take in consideration on what's available, this is much more reasonable because it doesn't require you to buy an entire new double DIN unit for your car, fiddling with cables, ripping things out. This just simply plugs in to play in your existing USB-A or USB-C port. And this does work on newer cars too, as this Defender that happened to be a 2024 model with that larger display is fully compatible to run off this device. So how does this work? Well, it uses wired CarPlay, not wireless. So if you have a car that only works with wireless CarPlay only, this will not work. Our BMW, unfortunately, only the latest models, the 2024s and newer, do not have wireless CarPlay or Android Auto ability. So this, unfortunately, does not work on that car. But for every other vehicle, this is functional. Kias could definitely utilize this because I've driven the newer Kias. They do not have wireless CarPlay ability, but when you plug this thing in, this will give your non-wireless CarPlay car wireless CarPlay abilities. So as soon as you connect this to your car, it will pop up on the screen, which is the weird boot up screen right here. Then it will just boot up Android, because this thing basically it's a small miniature computer and a small hockey puck sized capsule. And here you can basically just connect it to your vehicle's hotspot. It does have a built-in SIM card if you like to use that, or you can use your mobile device hotspot as well and connect to internet, and it works. It works like a smartphone. Actually, it works exactly the same like a smartphone due to the fact that this is using Android. So you have access to the Android Play Store. So all your favorite apps, including streaming platforms, even video games, you could just download it right here off your screen. So here we are at the App Store. Oh, it's not lagging anymore. So once it's done loading, we are using the vehicle hotspot, but you can also connect to your mobile hotspot as well for the device. But again, if you settle with purchasing a SIM card, that's be a better option, but that's also more expensive, which I do not recommend, because I'll show you in a little bit why. But every app you could think of, Instagram, Facebook, Amazon, and etc., you could just find here on the Android Play Store, of course. And the way this device navigates, see this little white dot right here? Very similar to assistive touch like on an iPhone. It'll fade away if you just like leave it by itself, as you're going to see in a little bit. There you go, now it's gone, and you could basically tap a blank spot and it'll reappear. This is what you'll be primarily using to navigate. So you tap on the center, you can tap home to go back, and then if you're in an app, you can use this back arrow to take you back to where you previously were. So I'm going to launch YouTube as an example. If I tap on the blank surface here and tap on this, this will allow me to go back just like that. This one's interesting because that is actually App Switcher, that little orange circle with the check mark. This is App Switcher, allows you to backtrack and go back to a previously open app, of course. And then the next one, this will be your virtual voice assistant, which is kind of interesting, which is Google, because this is Android. So if you click on here, it looks like it's a voice memo icon. It's not. It's just your virtual voice assistant that will pop up and will help you anything you're trying to do. And then if you tap it again, the next one over, this will be your app switch, which this does proudly support. So if I want to, I could go either have Netflix, YouTube, or the Google App Store side by side with one another. I could select on a YouTube video, hit play, and I'm using two things at once. You can find this being extremely useful if you have navigation running on this side and your kids are watching something in the back from the front portion. So you can have two things running at once. And then of course you could just close it entirely or make it like 70 to like the remaining percentage over here, which is like 30. And if we tap here, this trash can icon will basically clean your RAM. And then this car icon, I have no idea what it does. That car icon is unknown. I think it's just like eliminate the dot, I think, and just take you back to this screen. And then if you're using a program and app that supports it, you can full screen it. You can change the resolution if you want it to be a higher resolution. It all depends on your internet connection as well, but everything is extremely similar to the actual YouTube app that's found on your phone, which is quite awesome. But if we go back, here is picture in picture. So you can have navigation running, and yes, this does support Apple CarPlay. So I'm not going to connect to it just yet because there's a couple other things I want to show you. So if we maximize the screen, let's go back on YouTube. I didn't mean to close that. A slide down will bring you to not your vehicle control center, but yeah, give it a second. This thing, control center too. So you have your notifications for your apps. You have all your stuff you expect to find on your control center, Bluetooth and stuff, AirPlay mode. You can even do screen recording too, which I thought was kind of interesting. And yeah, you can also edit this as well. If you install the SIM card, it does support hotspot as well for your other devices. So think of this unit like CarPlay basically, because if I want to, I could go back to my vehicle main instrument screen, but if I want to go to CarPlay, I'll click on here. This thing fools itself to think that the car is using CarPlay, but it's really just utilizing one of these, that little box. So that's basically how the system works. So now let me try actually connect to CarPlay. So we are going to connect to CarPlay. You could do Android Auto as well. It utilizes Bluetooth to connect. So let's give it a couple of seconds, let it connect. And boom, we have CarPlay, and it works exactly the same way you expect it to work. So we don't have YouTube, Netflix, we lose those abilities, but everything else we have. Favorites, you can use your music streaming apps, and etc. But now, if you want to watch a YouTube video, you have to tap on this car app. It'll take you back to the Android UI. And then if you launch YouTube, and if we go in Control Center, get this out here, we lose Wi-Fi connectivity for hotspot needs. So everything is offline when you're doing it this way. This is why I was thinking, like, I thought this thing would have like 2 antennas at least. So one can be connected to hotspot and the other one can remain connected to wireless CarPlay. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So right now we are connected again because I allowed it to connect. But if I go back to CarPlay again and do the exact same thing, allow it to reconnect, and we go to the main app again, and we go here on YouTube, and we select like a YouTube video here, like this random one from IGN. It's not going to load because we don't have internet. You need to go Control Center to re-enable it. But what you can do is, if you have a subscription with YouTube Premium, you could actually offload some of these videos to actually watch it as you're driving. So now I have a couple of videos offloaded and saved thanks to my subscription with YouTube Premium. But you can use Netflix. They have the offline mode abilities too. So if we click on this video as an example, and then now we want to go into CarPlay, and then we go over here, select CarPlay, give it a couple seconds to connect. We have a video playing, so you can use this on Netflix as well. They also support this, so you actually continue watching the video while you're using your CarPlay screen. So that's one way to do it, just to offload videos as well as maps if you lose reception. But if we go tap on the little car icon, we are back over here, and we can as well slide this down over here to close it this way as well, instead of having to toggle that X on the corner, which is hard to press on. And now, you may have noticed I have these saved icons right here. You can actually save apps here. You can also play games too, mobile games, which is quite awesome. But if you long hold right here, you can unpin some of these and assign more favorite apps you want to have saved right there. So yeah, this genuinely does work. Of course, you have a knockoff Siri, which is just Android. You have access to it right there as well, and then apps. And then if you're done with this, select CarPlay. Boom, you have wireless CarPlay on a car that doesn't support wireless CarPlay, like a Kia, as I was saying earlier, all thanks to this little box. But after using this for quite some time now, I'm actually genuinely impressed, as there's no video audio latency whatsoever. The UI is a tad laggy. It's Android. I wasn't really expecting this thing to work fluidly, but it's definitely doable for today's day and age. Even some modern day vehicles tend to be this lagging at times. So since I yet haven't tossed this out the window as I'm driving, this will work. Although there are times where I do need to reboot this. It will rarely freeze up on me, but a simple unplug and plug back in, it will resume everything where you last left off. So I don't really have major complaints there. Now this happens to be the 5.0 version, and there also is a 4.0. I personally would have been better off getting the 4.0 because the only trade-off there is a slower processor, but after looking at the graphs, they pretty much perform identical to one another from the previous generation, so I don't really see a massive performance increase. And the 5.0 does feature built-in GPS, which does connect to satellites. And from my understanding, the 4.0 doesn't have this, but I mean, like, I live in an area where I never rely on GPS satellites. I always have cellular connectivity available. I personally would have been better off probably with the 4.0 just fine. So if you're planning on picking these things up, they work enough that I feel comfortable recommending these, so I'll have it linked in the description down below. The drawbacks aren't really bad. It won't really ruin the experience. They will definitely get the job done and allow me to not have to deal with the headaches and losing security support if I were to jailbreak my iPhone. And then the fact that the 5.0 was released earlier on this year, it came out like on January 18th, 2024. This thing will not be replaced anytime soon, so it should be fully compatible even for upcoming models in 2025 or 2026. So I'm able to easily disconnect this from a 2024 car and plug it into something in the future, or something I currently have, like a 2017 F-150. This will work perfectly fine as well. Judging by the reviews on Amazon as well, this thing has been plugged in pretty much on any vehicle and it works perfectly fine, except for BMWs again. So there you guys have it. That is these little boxes things that allow you to watch videos in your car. My verdict review of the MMB. I have a link again in the description down below for you, and keep an eye out in case there's like discount code that I managed to find. If I see something, I'll put it in the description as well as update it in case it goes on sale. Then, as always, if you can, make sure to leave this video a like, as those not only help out the channel, but they will also help out others who are also looking for this type of information. It's like leaving your server a tip. And a little bonus right now, I recommend replacing the launcher. I've recently replaced it with a different launcher. The Microsoft one is the one I selected, but I'm sure all these other launchers will be better because the one by default was not the best. And just by simply swapping, I noticed it made a massive difference because it's more responsive than before. So just thought you guys had to know this in case you're new to the Android world. Now, for more CarPlay content, highly recommend checking out this video over here, as that is a video that's currently blowing up on my channel, and a lot of people have been finding good usage information out of it. So be sure to watch that video over there for some cool hidden features that you could do with CarPlay. Thank you so much for watching.